Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now, today's first story is titled Future Mother-in-Law 54 Female Called Me 23 Female Stupid, and now I'm considering calling off the wedding. How do I approach the situation? I, 23 female, am engaged to John, 24 male. We're together for 5 years. We want to get married in July 2025. I always thought that his family liked me because we get along well. He has 2 older brothers, 26 male and 29 male, both married. Honestly, I was very excited to have them all as my in-laws. They were always kind to me. Some kind of important information. About a year ago when I was scrolling on Instagram, I saw a profile that was kind of cringy but in a cute way. It was an older woman's profile who shared inspirational quotes. I remember one particular post, something in the lines of, "Only stupid people pretend to know everything. Don't pretend, just ask." Honestly, this quote changed me in a lot of ways. Before that, I was always worried that I might embarrass myself if I don't know something, and after reading that quote, I realized that if I always pretend that I know everything, then I'll miss out on actually getting to learn about things. So I decided to change my habits and start admitting that sometimes I genuinely don't know. Someone is talking about the war in Kosovo? Okay, sure, but first let me ask some questions so I can really understand what we're talking about. And I ask a lot of questions sometimes. I sometimes even open the notes app and write in some questions that I later want to find the answers to. These are my latest. Number 1. How does the time work in the black hole? 2. Why some snails have shells and others don't? 3. What food is okay for ducks? 4. How does the light bulb work? The old ones with the gas inside them. 5. Does everyone see colors the same, and how can we know that? Sorry for the long introduction, but it was kind of necessary for understanding what kind of person I am. I know that sometimes I might come across as annoying. Now on to the problem. His parents hosted a small barbecue last weekend only for the family. So it was the mum, 54 female, dad, 59 male, brothers, 26 male and 29 male, and their wives, 27 female and 27 female. I was the last person who showed up because I had to work late. I entered the house, and when I went walking towards the back of the house into the backyard, I heard John's mum talking about me. To be honest, she wasn't talking about me, more like mocking me. I heard her say in a high-pitched voice, "How does the sun work? Where should I put the fork? Why does nobody like me? How do I wipe my ass?" I just stood there. I had this sinking feeling. I couldn't move, so I just stood there, and I heard them all laughing. One of the wives said, "I actually don't mind her always asking questions. I think it's cute." And it made me feel hopeful that they will say something like, "Yeah, sure, we're just playing, we love that." But none of them did. Instead, Mum replied, "It's not cute, she's just stupid." After that, they laughed again. I heard John laughing. My heart kind of broke in that moment because he didn't say one positive thing. He didn't defend me, he just laughed. I quietly turned around and left the house. I text John that I got sick and have to stay home. Now I'm wondering how I should approach this situation. We live together and I sleep in the guest bedroom for now, and I use the excuse that I don't want him to get sick from being around me. I can't ignore him forever, and I can't pretend to be sick anymore because it's been too long. I'm not sure how do I proceed. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. I'm considering talking to them about this, but I'm also worried that they won't be honest with me. I can't marry him if he thinks I'm stupid, but I also can't marry into a family who thinks so little of me. But maybe it was a joke and I shouldn't take it so seriously. I'm so torn apart, and every day I convince myself a bit more that it's okay and sometimes we should all laugh about ourselves. Now I feel like I'm just going crazy. I'd really appreciate some advice. Edit. There are many comments saying that they cannot stand people like me. I agree that sometimes I can be a bit too much with the questions, but with that being said, I still think I'm within reason. I don't do it around people I just met. I rarely do it at parties or other gatherings. I usually do it with people who are close to me, who I think wouldn't judge me, or with people who specifically have knowledge about something and are willing to share it. If I'm part of a conversation, I'm not rude and I'm not interrupting. I usually just ask 1 or 2 questions. If a discussion is about the climate change, I'm not asking about monkeys, if you know what I'm saying. I'm also not a complete dumbass. I don't ask questions which generally would be considered dumb to other people. Those I just write in the notes and check answers later in the internet. I'm capable of reading, so I make good use of it. But after all, I still do ask questions a lot. Mate, I love curious people like that who've come up with random questions sometimes, note them down and look for the answers later. I'm very much the same. Do you know what my search genuinely was last night? 11 p.m. what I was searching up. Can a gorilla lift a car? This come from the back of an article I saw. Can a grizzly bear beat a gorilla? It was kind of overwhelming that a grizzly could beat a gorilla, but then I was thinking, oh, how strong are gorillas though? And they can lift some weight. Holy moly. It's the kind of pub discussions that I love to get into. But anyway, I'm going a bit off topic here. Walking into that and finding people mocking you in that way and your partner not defending you, I don't blame you. And sure, you can confront him on this and find out what he has to say. But I feel like for myself, if I was to walk in on that situation, overheard a bunch of people talking about me in that way, how do you look at them in the same way again? Especially the mother-in-law. She called you stupid for being curious and asking questions. Confused says they were laughing at you behind your back. If he says anything along the lines of, that is how they are, get over it, it's not a big deal, you're too sensitive, anything that excuses their behavior, then he is really asking you to accept it. He's asking you to give your permission for it to continue, and your silence is your permission for it to continue. If they can't say it to your face, that tells you a world of information about the kind of people they are. If you want to see how things really are, confront them about this and see what happens. Their reactions will tell you everything you need to know about all of them and will be helpful in making such a big decision. It will show you how they deal with conflict, which will be a good indication of what you'll be getting yourself into should you marry this guy. They will be a part of your life for as long as they are alive. You need to know if you can tolerate being a part of this family. Beck says, tell John what you heard. Tell him of all the things you heard. His reaction hurt you the most. Tell him you cannot believe how cruel his mother was, and his laughter and failure to stand up for you was like a knife in the heart. Then ask him, why should I marry you? Someone who is comfortable laughing at me when they think I can't hear them. I ask questions to better understand something. The smartest person in the room is the person who knows they don't know everything and is not afraid to ask. When I heard everyone, all I could hear was ignorance, unkindness, a lack of grace, and no love whatsoever. How very graceful of you and your family to mock someone. Frankly, I'd call off the wedding. The Green Grace says, I'm sorry you experienced that. I'm sorry his mum is a terrible person. I'm sorry you were hurting. But you're not overreacting and you're not oversensitive. Those were mean things to say. Mocking is not okay. Not only that, but she's been lying to your face this whole time and acting kind and accepting when she's cruel and hateful. The rest of them co-signed her cruelty with their passiveness and laughter. Don't marry into that family. But here is some advice. Find your voice, stand up for yourself, learn to handle conflict head on. Avoidance will bring you nothing but pain and suffering. Work on yourself before your next relationship. Become the you who could confront your fiancé immediately when he got home. Become the person who doesn't lie and say they're sick to avoid confrontation or sleeps in the guest room to avoid showing you are hurt. Have the confrontation, show the hurt, expect to be treated with kindness and honesty. Invite that by being kind to yourself and being honest with others about how you feel. Do all that and your next relationship will be much healthier. This one would have ended in heartbreak and divorce eventually. Leave and feel good about it. One more comment who says, tell John you heard his mum talking shit and him laughing. It has hurt you beyond measure. You can no longer trust him to be a partner you thought he was. I then messaged the brother's wife who sort of stood up for you and let her know that you appreciate her being the one to say something nice about you. Let her know you've decided to end the relationship with John. Let them handle the fallout. John will know. Brother's wife will know. It will get out. Then the mum can eat a shit sandwich, and I promise if she goes the route of, oh, I was only kidding, or she can't take a joke, when she is alone with her thoughts, she will know she is an awful person whose mouth negatively impacted her child's life. And fuck her. The OP did update the post and says, first of all, I wanted to say thank you to the people who reached out to answer my questions about black holes, snails, ducks, light bulbs, and other stuff. I would love to have you as my friends. For the other people who said I should just shut up, I don't really care if you find me annoying or hard to be around. I'm okay with that. I don't exist to please everyone. I'm just here for a good time, have my own interests, and learn. I didn't expect my post to gain so much attention, but I'm so grateful for the advice. Most of you told me to break up with him and at the very least confront him. So that's what I decided to do. You gave me a push and confidence to do it. But before I did that, I texted the wife of John's brother, the one who said she liked me asking questions. I asked if we could meet up for coffee. She said sure. We met and I didn't see the point in pretending to her that I didn't hear their conversation. So after some small talk, I just said, I heard you all talking about me during the barbecue. She immediately got sad and said she feels embarrassed. She explained that it wasn't a joke, wasn't out of context, that it was just mean and hurtful. She said she's sorry for not defending me more, but I said that it's okay and I understand. I told her that I don't blame her for anything and just wanted to make sure that I understand the situation and see it for what it really was. And it really was laughing about me behind my back. Just bullying. At this point, I just had to confront John. In my last post, so many comments were saying that he will probably try gaslighting me. And you were right. We were having dinner together for the first time since the barbecue happened. Because before I tried my best to avoid him. Yes, I know, not very mature of me, but other than you guys, I don't really have a strong support system. My family and best friends are hundreds of kilometers away. I only have 2 good friends here. I was so stressed I thought I'm going to pass out. My legs were shaking and I was terrified because I knew deep down that this is the moment where my 5-year relationship goes down the drain. I looked him in the eyes and asked, how does the sun work? He looked confused, so I followed with, where should I put my fork? Why does nobody like me? At this point, realization hit him and he started nervously laughing. I said I was there and I heard him. After the initial shock passed, he got mad. He said it's rude to eavesdrop. I said it's rude to bully people. He tried telling me that it was just a joke, that I shouldn't be so uptight, that it really was funny. I said that I didn't find it funny. I went to the guest room to calm down. He started panicking. He was asking me to please talk to him. He was much more apologetic and said that he will be 100% honest with me. I asked if his mother made similar comments before the barbecue. He said yes. I asked him if he ever defended me. He said he tries to. I don't know if I believe him. He told me he loves me and respects me. I don't know if I believe it either. I said that I love him too, but I need a break. He's all I've ever known. He was my first and only partner. I have no outside perspective of this. I have no experience. I need a moment to think. I will be going to my friend's house for a while to think everything through. The apartment has his name on the lease anyway. After I gathered some of my things and left, he kept texting me non-stop. He tried calling, but I didn't respond. I was very hurt because he tried to belittle my feelings, and only later when he realized that I might break up with him, started apologizing. The next day, I decided to give him another chance to explain himself, and I came back to the apartment. He seemed very sad and tired. He said that he told his mother that I overheard him. I said, I don't care. It's his time to step up and show me that he cares. I'm not interested in an apology from his mother. I'm already done with her. I can't put up with this behavior and mocking me like we're in primary school. I saw a comment saying that probably her ego is hurting. I think it's true. She never got the chance or never had the desire to have an education. She's a very good homemaker, but outside of that, she doesn't have many interests of her own. If I'm asking her about making tomato soup, she'll be talking for 30 minutes lecturing me about adding enough sugar but not too much. She will lecture anyone who is willing to listen. Anytime someone is talking about something she's not familiar with, she gets defensive and tries to imply that nobody cares about that, and if it's not relevant to her, it shouldn't be discussed. Once again, he tried telling me that I should relax because it was only a joke, and at this point, I had enough. I took off my ring and told him that this behavior is a joke, and I can't be the punchline. Oh shit! I told him that I wish him and his family the best, and to look in the mirror to check if they really are as superior as they think they are. I said I'm going to be back with my friend soon to pick up the rest of my stuff and to not contact me again unless it's about moving my things out. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you all for the advice. Without you, I wouldn't have the confidence to leave this man. I know I deserve better. I can't be with someone who can't stand up for me, and I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable around his family. So I'm done with the relationship. Hope they will treat his next girlfriend better. Thank you again, Reddit, for advice. A commenter says to OP, keep on being curious and not judgmental, and then links a YouTube link to Ted Lasso who says the same and says, OP says same. Absolutely love that show. I watched it with my ex and it's funny that he didn't like Ted and thought that his character was not relatable and silly. To be honest, we all should have Ted's strength and positivity sometimes. A commenter says to OP, your ex-mother-in-law can still go and get an education. Many have and there is still time. That's no excuse for what she did, and her saying that and acting like that shows how undereducated she is. OP says, I think so too. I believe it's never too late to start learning something new and continue education. In my uni, there was an old lady in her 70s who recently graduated and everyone was just so proud of her. In my country, university is free, so the barrier of entry isn't as bad as in the US, for example. And like I said, I love curious minds. OP's asking legit questions about light bulbs and black holes. I mean, they're far more important than the questions I ask. Like how many packs of jelly to fill up a swimming pool? Do birds pee? What's the maximum height to drop an Azorb ball and survive? I mean, I know, right? This sort of stuff always happens when I'm recording as well. Like I'm in recording and something will pop into my head and then I go off on some sort of tangent and not work for half the day. I mean, it's crazy. So let's end this one with what do you guys make of this story, by the way? And what's some of your curious questions down in the comments below? Let's get involved. And let's move on to another story. Now, I saw the next story and I was just intrigued. It was from a throwaway account from the Off My Chest subreddit and says, my girlfriend won't stop acting like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. It started off throwaway for obvious reasons. This all started when my girlfriend 21 and I, male 24, started watching the Lord of the Rings movies, since we both had never seen them before. We've seen the first and second now. She started crawling around the house like Smeagol and Gollum since we watched the second movie. It started as a joke, but she doesn't stop. She keeps grabbing at my clothes like Gollum does in the movies, sometimes even grabbing my crotch and calling it my precious. It makes me feel super uncomfortable and I don't know what to do. She has also grabbed raw meat and fish out of my hands while I was cooking. I don't think it's funny anymore. I've told her before it makes me uncomfortable, and she told me she'd stop, but she doesn't stop. I really don't know what to do. I don't want our relationship to end like this. The 3 top comments on this one, someone said, asked my boyfriend if he would leave me if I acted like Smeagol, and he said, I already do. Another comment said, maybe she is just subtly asking for you to put a ring on her finger. Another commenter says, yeah, he might not want to take her to a volcano after giving her a ring. Then again. So around 17 days or so later, after that post, OP came in with her update, which said, a quick summary for those who haven't read my previous post. After watching the first 2 Lord of the Rings movies, my girlfriend, 21, wouldn't stop acting like Smeagol. I complained how she crossed my boundaries a couple of times and that I was afraid our relationship would end because of this. I've read all your comments and I came to the conclusion that it was just light-hearted fun. After making the post, I started seeing the humor in it. We have watched the 3rd movie and we both really enjoyed it. So, what did I do? She continued acting like Smeagol for the last weeks, and yes, there were still moments where it made me uncomfortable, like the constant referring to my member as my precious, but I was able to brush it off. As the comments suggested, I tried out-Smeagoling her. So when she would behave like this, I would do it back. I assumed this would make it stop, but no, it made it worse. We've had moments where we couldn't stop laughing because we kept interacting like Smeagol to each other. This is fine and funny in private, but we started doing it all the time and it became something that would happen in public too. Like when you do something ironically, you can't stop doing it after a while. We were having dinner with her parents and we were talking to each other in Schmiegel voice. The parents were both in the kitchen. My mother came over to ask me something and I accidentally replied in the Schmiegel voice and it was super awkward. My girlfriend now makes fun of me for that, which is fair, I guess. After all, this story has a happy ending, I think. And I think I like my girlfriend even more now. And the two top comments from that update said, waiting for the next update to be, help, I got carried away a Schmiegel and bit my girlfriend's finger off and she broke up with me. How do I get her back? Anyway, happy for you, OP. Another commenter says, she calls his penis my precious. She is never breaking up with him, ever. Anyway, happy for you, OP. And I have to say, there was a mixture of comments on there. Obviously, there was a lot of people joking about it. Some people saying, yeah, they would get fed up of that kind of childish behavior. Other people saying it's a hint at getting that ring. And a few people pointing out, saying that she is having light-hearted fun. Or other people saying, you know, if she's grabbing your crotch and you're telling her not to, that's an issue. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this one? Bit different, right? Anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.